Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Crystal Clear podcast. Today's guest, Danny Hatt, is someone I've known and loved for 18 years. He's the co founder and owner of Hummingbird House, one of Austin's most sought after wedding venues. Danny's built Hummingbird House alongside his former partner, Tom, and what I admire most is not just the success of the business, but the way he's navigated love, loss, partnership, reinvention, and growth with so much grace. Today, he's married, thriving in entrepreneurship, redefining life long after a long term relationship. And as if that weren't enough, he and his husband Felipe rescue senior dogs and give them the most beautiful final chapters. This conversation is about building something meaningful even when the people in your life change. Danny,
Mhm.
thank you
Thank you.
for
It's
coming
wonderful to be with
on. I'm
you.
so excited to do this with you. So, we're going to get straight into it.
All right.
So, building love and business.
Mhm.
Take me back to the beginning. How did the idea for Hummingbird House come to life, and what was the original vision behind it?
So, little backstory of how that even began. When I moved to Austin, I was 20, just kind of starting to find myself, not sure which pathway I wanted to go on to. I then met Tom a year later. Um, him being 20 years plus older than me, had a lot of adversity, a lot of people's misconceived judgments of intentions, but that was nothing new to me. And I knew this was something I wanted to pursue with him. It was my first serious relationship. And pretty much right out of the gate, after we met and started dating, we decided to start the venue. The venue was one of his personal homes. But at the time, we had moved to 360, which he
Mm-hmm.
sold the condo to us. So, mostly being in downtown residences, we decided to turn the house into a venue. It's something he had kind of always played with doing. Once he bounced the idea off of me, I was like, well, this sounds like we could really hit out of the park. This could be a fun, creative venture together. So we pretty much right out of the gate started our relationship as business partners as well too. Him seeing the potential in me gave me a lot of reassurance, gave me a lot of security as well too. Just having that age difference,
Mm-hmm.
um, I felt like I was a partner. I felt like I was listened to and respected too, and it gave me a lot of creative freedom to build it to what it is today. I'll say right now, 16 years later, I'm still not done. Just like everything in life, you got to constantly work on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But it took a lot of time to get there. Um, and it just kind of morphed to what it was. I never envisioned I would be where I am right now. I would never imagine to have this kind of success and fulfillment, both in business and personal life. Um, so we're just seeing where it goes.
I mean, Hummingbird House is such a beautiful
Yeah,
space. I had my engagement party
I
there.
remember. Yes.
And I'm so proud of you of what you've built.
Yeah.
And I did it's 16
Yep.
years. Wow.
Yep. And you see a lot of change. We started the venue in 2009 when we were pretty much in the heat of the financial
Mm,
crisis. Um, Again, luckily enough, Tom had a very established property. He also owned the great outdoors, so the
mm-hmm.
landscaping of this house was just over the
Yeah.
top, just phenomenal. So a lot of the palette was already there, but we were able to come in mind specifically with weddings. So we were able to build that together, having this organic feel to it, and he had the capital to make it to what it needed to be at the
Mm-hmm.
point. Um, but you just roll with the punches, and it was so beautiful working together and having this experience. He gave me a lot of freedom and flexibility to
Mm-hmm.
do what I needed to do too, to this day as well. So I very much admire that and will always be grateful for that.
Yeah. So, when you look back on building a life and business with Tom, what did that chapter teach you about partnership?
Um, a lot of listening. Um, it taught me how to factor in someone else's opinion as well too. Being that he was an established business person, he
Mm-hmm.
knew how to launch these things. it gave me a lot of guidance to expand as well. And that I wasn't so focused on more the minute, accounting and LLCs. And I was able to have the freedom to be more creative in the client facing roles. And luckily we have a lot of the same taste. We had a lot of the same goals, but he knew I was more the creative design portion of it all. So it really helped us build it to what we needed to be. And still to this day, we get along great. We still talk all the time. We still run the business together. And I'm just very grateful for that.
I will say there's so much strength and in starting a business with a partner. So whenever I started Platinum, I had Justin, and Justin was like that person, right? Who was doing the accounting and the LLC and everything on the financial side of it. And my strength was recruiting agents, building a brand, marketing, being the face of the business. And so it was such a good partnership and collaboration. And I'm so forever like grateful to Justin. I bought him out in 2016. But I'm just so grateful for that opportunity and that experience, to be able to start. So I would have never been able to do it without him. And so I think there's a lot of value for people wanting to start a business. Sure, of course, if you can do it on your own, do it on your own. But if you have someone who's like-minded and driven and they're like, hey, I have this idea, do you want to partner up? Like that is.
And to also, have a certain relationship with that person too, to where there's that trust and that value in there. It's just, I can't say enough good things about it. I feel so incredibly lucky that I had this opportunity. Because not everyone does, or even if some people, you do have these kind of opportunities, not know how to run with it. And Tom gives me so much credit, and it's so humbling to know that.
Yeah. So that's definitely a big like takeaway piece of advice I would say to people, wanting to start a business. Like if you have this great idea, lean on others.
Exactly.
And partner up, because you can go so much further, I think, with two versus one.
And having two different mindsets as well too, to where, we all have our notions of what we want things to be, but it's so nice having a collaboration with them to be able to bounce ideas off together and form it to what it needs to be. Because you can't do it all. I still struggle with trying to do too much. But being able to have others help support you and lift each other up.
And a good team, right? Good employees, good, because you are not strengths, weaknesses. So whenever you can like build a team with people that have different strengths and can bring something to the table, they grow, you grow. So,
and I think seeing Tom with the Great Outdoors and its success, and he took so good care of his employees, because they're your family. It's like you support them, they support you. You go the extra mile for them, and they'll help you grow to where you need to be as well. And just having that common respect for people. And my family taught me a lot of that too, growing up. It doesn't matter if they're handing you food through the drive-thru. You're polite, you're respectful, you acknowledge them and their level of and their service that they're doing for you. Like nothing made you better than anybody else, no matter what you have, who you are, what you look like. It's just we're all here together, and we have to support us all as a community. Otherwise, it's just going to be bringing us all down.
I saw a thing today at the UCLA coach was giving a speech to the players, and he was like, who's the guy that serves you guys omelets? And they were like, Aaron. Half the room knew who he was talking about. And he was like, okay, do you guys know, our janitor's name? Do you know it's that no one's better than the next person. Precisely. We are all a team. Like you're successful on that football field because of all of those individuals.
Because they're supporting you along the way.
Yes.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
Treat everyone with respect. You are no better than anyone else. And we are a well-oiled machine. And at one part isn't more important or better than the next. And I think that's so important in life, but especially running a successful business.
Yeah.
So, do you think you were meant to have different partners for different seasons?
I do. especially with the relationship I started out with, again, someone who was older, much more
Mm-hmm.
established. This was my first love.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to it with the notions of what I thought it would be. And a lot of that was true. Um, we were on again, off again for 12 years, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
It ultimately came down to some external forces that really had nothing to do with our relationship together, but it was something that kept coming up. And it just got to the point where I knew I wanted to get married. I wanted to have kids. Um, I wanted to be a true partner. And that's something Tom wasn't ready to do. I think just being in his level of life he was at, um, he just wasn't ready for that chapter, or didn't want to make that sort of level of commitment. And that's something that kind of always took at me too, is like, does he not trust me? Does, is this gonna last? And just knowing I need a little bit more security than that.
Mm-hmm.
And we went our separate ways amicably.
Mm-hmm.
um and like I said, we're still in each other's life, and I have respect for him, he does for me too. And I think now with Felipe, I was able to go into that relationship of like, okay, this is I after the relationship ended with Tom, um, I was ready for that to next plunge. Little sidetrack, but right before our relationship ended, I went to like a 30-day meditation retreat because
Mm-hmm.
I went through a lot of personal and professional traumatic situations. It was 2021. We had that awful freeze. The reception hall collapsed from the
Oh,
weight of the stone.
yes.
There was massive pipe damage all throughout the property. So, and then also knowing like I have, 50 weddings coming up in the next 3 months. So trying to figure out solutions, which we did, because there's no other option than
Yeah.
that. And then in our personal relationship as well too, there was some things that didn't settle well with me, and I just knew I needed to get out. I needed to have a nice reset. Otherwise, I was just going to go down this awful spiral, and it wasn't healthy. It wasn't productive. After I got back from Hawaii, I was finally able to be a little bit more clear headed of what my wants and needs were, and was I okay with a relationship that wasn't fulfilling the way I
Mm-hmm.
needed to be. And and Tom was ultimately the one that ended it, which I'm grateful for, because I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if I would have been brave enough to have done that even after that
Yeah.
Hawaii experience. But I was like, okay, like now this is done. I can breathe. I can go forward. And after we ended our 12-year relationship, I met Felipe a week later, like 1 week later, and I
Yeah.
was just like, done,
Yeah.
done.
Well, right?
Exactly. It's like this is what I've been needing.
Yeah.
Someone that I can emotionally connect with and be very vulnerable with, and vice versa.
I
So
feel like whenever someone breaks up with you, like when they end the relationship, and I mean it in like when someone ends a relationship that isn't good for you,
yep,
it isn't serving you,
yep,
it's a God thing.
hmm
It is whatever you believe in. It is your spirit guides looking out for you, the universe looking out for you. They are like, you know what? This is not meant for you. You're not willing to end it. We're going to end it for you.
yep. It's time to make the turn. Exactly. And I was afraid if my relationship ended with Tom, like what that would mean for me professionally.
Yeah.
Even though he's always gave me total control out there. He's like, you know what you're doing, you're successful, like go wild, basically. And I very much appreciate that. But it always was something in the back of my mind, like, could this all be taken away from
Yeah, of
me?
course.
I own 49%, he owns 51.
Yeah.
But he's a great man. He's a
Yeah.
wonderful human being. And I'm sad that things didn't work out the way they did. But I am glad we're the role I'm in right now.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of going into it with that gratitude. And like you said, sometimes you're just forced to get out
Yeah.
there and like, let's dive,
Yeah.
you know?
I think it's a God thing for sure.
Absolutely. Somebody is watching.
Yeah. How do you know when a relationship has completed its purpose? Well, we kind of touched on this a second ago, but
Yeah. I think when there was just you keep coming to that impasse together too, and we've tried and we tried, and at the time too, we were in the process of building, very nice home in Travis Heights, and
that's right. Oh my gosh.
how many real estate deals we've done. She's helped with all of them. Um, and it got to the point where we were about to move into the house and be finished with it, and it ended on my birthday, that relationship. And yeah, that's when I was like, okay, now I can.
Yeah. You're forced
Yep, exactly.
into
Now I'm
the next chapter, and it's always a blessing on the other side.
absolutely.
Well, navigating business with an ex, not many people successfully continue running a business with someone they once loved. What made that possible for you? I mean, it sounds like because of Tom and
Yeah, I think just because when we started the business, we were like 3-4 months into our actual romantic
yeah.
relationship too, so that we already had that dynamic down together. Um, and again, he was never like more involved in the day to day. He was more like what Justin was, more the financial and the business end of things. So me always having that kind of creative freedom out there, and his trust in that too, that just continued after our relationship ended. Like we always have that respect for each other, that I'm very grateful for.
About that paper.
Yep.
About getting that money.
If it's working,
exactly.
Don't mess with it.
So how did you protect the vision of Hummingbird House during that transition?
I feel like I always had it, that protection.
Mm-hmm.
I've proven myself to Tom that I was worthwhile as far as keeping this thing going and expanding things. So there wasn't really much of a push and pull, and that end of it, like you said, if the formula is working, don't mess it up.
Yeah.
So we were able to kind of continue in that.
You're lucky, because I feel like so many people, and this speaks to Tom's character, but also to you, and your drive and your vision. But despite all of that, Danny, like, people are fucking awful. They're ruthless. And especially when I think external factors and people get in their ear, and it could have gone I feel like you are like a 1 in a million with this story, because it could have gone, and it typically does.
Absolutely. Because people get vindictive. I mean, especially if, that relationship would have ended with, like something we did to each other, like cheating or manipulation, but it wasn't anything like that. But, there always are people in other people's ears too.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've proven myself to all of his friends as well too. Like they knew what I was capable of doing, and they knew when we were together it was for the right reasons, not because of their notions of our age difference. So I had a lot of confidence going into that.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
Because I feel like so many people get screwed over despite, contributing so much and proving their worth. And so, okay. And how does the dynamic work with Felipe now? I think a lot of people would struggle to balance a current marriage while still being in business with a former partner. What makes it work for you?
Tom and I don't have a lot of really day-to-day interaction with each other, but I know Felipe, obviously I had started the business long before I was with Felipe, and it was an established venue at the time, still is, but there was just already that proven track record of Tom and I working well together in that aspect, and Felipe respects that, and Felipe is actually a huge help with Hummingbird too. Like he has so many wonderful ideas. He drew this beautiful illustration map of the gardens, and so I'm so grateful to have him in my life helping me with this as well too, because it's nice having another sounding board there and having someone that I can be creative with and help expand it in that sense as well too. So it's a nice little venture that we can work on things together. And yeah,
That's a testament to Felipe
truly.
and to both of you, because you gave him a sense of security
Exactly.
going into it.
And that's, yes. And I feel like because I had that sense of security when I went into the
Yeah.
business with Tom too, you know, but there's not like there was any push and pull there with my past relationship, that he understood where I was. And, you know, we have such a wonderful love and a wonderful marriage. And I hope he always knows that. But yeah, just knowing that this is business, but this is our marriage.
Easier said than done,
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much jealousy and insecurity
Mm-hmm.
out there, and that really shows that, like,
So
you
mature.
gave him the
Mm-hmm.
confidence, right?
Yeah.
To feel like I'm safe in this relationship.
Yeah.
I can trust my partner and my husband.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's incredible, because I don't know that a lot of people would be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Ryan, my first husband, and I are friends again,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
we have a good relationship with each other and talk fairly often. And I'm so grateful that Nick trusts me fully. And
Absolutely.
I think that that's a testament to me as an individual and how he feels like he can trust me fully.
Because you love him fully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's partial maturity.
Mm-hmm.
And also it comes down to like the individual, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're whole, they're full. And you've given them a space to where they feel safe and
Mm-hmm.
respected. And I think that that's huge, because
And they're mature, you
Yeah.
know, and like, it's not, you know, these preconceived notions of like, oh, the jealousy or
Yeah.
the vindictiveness. It's, you're an adult, he's an
Yes.
adult. And especially, you know, with Jax too, you know, I love how wonderful Nick is with him. And it's just, it's so beautiful. I love when you post and seeing you guys together, and it gives me so much joy to see you such in a happy
Thank
place,
you.
because I know how much you deserve that. So just a side note,
Thank
like,
you.
it's
Yeah.
beautiful, and I'm
It-
so happy for you. It's,
I will say, I envision, like, kind of when you met Felipe, you were like, this is it.
mhm.
This is what I always wanted.
Yeah.
Like, I knew what I wanted for myself, and I envisioned a certain life and a certain partner. And it's the same thing for me. Like,
Mhm.
meeting Nick and being in a relationship with Nick, I'm like, this is what I always wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for my journey,
Mhm.
you know, just like you. Thank God for Tom and the journey and the opportunity. I feel the exact same way. I'm grateful for both of my relationships. Tevin gave me Jax. Ryan was, you know, my first husband and taught me so much about marriage. And I knew I always wanted to be a mother.
Yeah, I
I
remember.
value marriage. You know, I want that. Everyone's like, are you going to get married again? I'm like, I hope so. Third time's a charm. But yeah, yes, of course. Just because it fucking failed and the first two times, I know what I want. And
Mhm.
I've always wanted a happy, healthy partnership, to be married, to be a family unit.
And I think it says a lot about you too, just always having this optimistic outlook of things, of no matter how many times we've been hurt. And because, you know, Tom and I, in our 12-year relationship, we broke up several times
Yeah.
between there. And in those breakups, you know, I try to date. I'm hoping for this relationship I've always dreamt of. And every time, you know, I get slapped in the face and I
Yeah.
get let down, I get disappointed. But I was always able to hold on to that hope
Yeah.
and that just optimistic, like it's gonna happen one day. Like, no matter how many times you put yourself out there, or how many times you're disappointed, eventually it comes to fruition.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I believe it. Thank God. Shit, man. Oh,
lucky.
yes.
Lucky.
So lucky, because it is out there. But I think a big part of it is you have to be whole.
Mhm,
You
exactly.
have to be, you know, you're not looking for, you weren't looking to jump in another relationship after Tom. You were like living your best life, happy to be single, newfound freedom. And then you just finished your retreat. So you're in a good place,
Mhm.
like emotionally, spiritually. And then You met someone,
Yep.
and that's typically how it always happens. So, reinvention in marriage now. Now that you're married, what feels different about love this time around? How long have you been? 3 years now. You guys have been
Yeah,
married.
we met in 2021. We got married in 22.
Hmm.
So
Going on
for
4.
going on 4 years,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, we've done so much in that 4 years
Mhm.
too. It's just kind of like, whoa, I can't even remember sometimes,
Yeah.
time goes, the older we get to, time goes by so fast. Um, but we have such a good partnership. I'm able to lean on him for things and vice versa. We both have our strengths we bring to the table. And I feel like the biggest thing we've or could have been a biggest test is, last year we bought that house through you in
Mhm.
Shady Hollow. And thank you.
Of
Showing
course.
all,
Thank
all
you.
the damn houses. Gotta find the right. And we did a complete restoration of this beautiful
Mhm.
home, and total get picked out every tiny, tiny, tiny detail. And it was great. Again, we have a lot of the same tastes, we had a lot of the same visions. And even though there's sometimes you're like, I don't know, I want to do it this way.
Mhm.
But then you start to see the other person's side, and I'm like, wow, this was a beautiful idea. Like,
Mhm.
even though you do have a little push and pull there
Mhm.
sometimes, I think at the end of it is just saying, that was a great idea. You were right. I'm glad I listened to you.
Mhm.
And not having to be so one-sided about things is huge.
Yeah. It prevents a lot of unnecessary drama,
Hmm.
and I yeah, I love that about you guys. It feels very like you feel the love
Hmm.
whenever you're in your home.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So it's been fun. And we're just getting started
yeah,
too. It's
you're
it's
newlyweds.
Yep.
So, how did you consciously choose different?
Differently. I think I just always knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
I knew what was going to be right for me. And
Yeah.
again, as I kind of touched on earlier, even all the disappointment of the past, I just always knew, like, this is what I needed. This
Hmm.
is the vision I have for it. I knew how I wanted to love. I know how I wanted to be loved.
Hmm.
And yeah, it just kind of clicked, and I was like, okay, let's go for it.
Hmm. It's a different feel,
Hmm.
too. I saw something recently that was like, the right person's going to make you feel like they're not going to give you butterflies, they're going to give you peace,
Exactly.
like that's
Serenity
chaos.
there.
That's you want to feel like peace at home,
Hmm.
safe. So for me it was definitely like more of a feel,
Hmm.
than anything else.
It's that security. It's like
Hmm.
I can breathe. um I can be open. I can be vulnerable,
Hmm.
and it's okay.
Well, so this is how, let's talk about real estate.
Hmm.
This is house what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
No idea. No idea.
Okay, what are you really chasing when you're ready for the next house?
I think before, when I was with Tom, we bought a new home like maybe every year.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like a lot of it was trying to mold the relationship to where I wanted it to be, of having more input, even though we had the business together.
Hmm.
Like, I wanted us to buy a home together. Um, but it's something that he did, and rightfully so. It was his down payment, so that was fair. But I just always had a fun eye for design, and
Hmm.
just trying to have that new reinvention to yourself. Uh, It's just having that creative, and that's what I've loved so much about the business too. Is you can constantly evolve, evolve, evolve. And then with real estate, it's a great investment. You get to have some flexibility there, especially when you're able to do long-term renters in your previous
Hmm.
properties. So I learned a lot about that from Tom,
Hmm.
just seeing his success that he's had. Um, I always kick myself for not investing more in the market, the traditional
Yeah.
type of ways. But again, starting to come up in the Great Recession
Hmm.
and seeing what happened there, and then the COVID pops, and I just always knew real estate was much more of a tangible
Yeah.
asset versus the unreliability of up and downs in the markets. And really having no sense of control there.
Mhm.
So, and it's just fun.
It
It's fun,
is.
and like, you know, having to have this new project, and like I said with this last one, having to complete design aspect and total control of it. It's been a really enjoyable series, and now I'm looking for another one, not
Mhm.
for investment
Yeah,
type
yeah.
of Airbnb situation. So
You say that. I mean, we'll see how long you're going to be in this
I feel
house
like
thing.
once we have kids,
Yeah,
maybe it's big enough,
it
of
is. Yeah, for a
course,
couple of
you
kids.
know, and we've got a huge yard, so we're gonna go like over the top pool, landscaping, wellness gym in the backyard, like bucket,
Yeah.
you know, just I want it
Yeah.
to
The
be
sky's
there.
the limit there with the it's so nice too to have land, isn't it?
Half an acre, four
God,
dogs,
it's a
like
dream.
yeah.
I love my home so much. I'm like out in the suburbs and but I
I can't
fucking love my house. It feels so good.
to have the space and the
Yes.
freedom and the privacy, like just driving through downtown to that, like I can
Yeah,
imagine
same.
driving up and down those parking garages
Mm-mm.
every single day.
So Nick has a place
Yeah,
downtown. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's like we're doing like the
Little
the
hybrid.
downtown, yeah, the suburbs, and I don't mind. I'm enjoying it, and
Absolutely.
it's fun walking downtown with the dogs and Jax. But some days I'm like, God damn it! I one of the last times I was there, I had the dogs and Mia, I heard got sick, and I had to get up. Danny, I think like 3 times. I wanted to fucking murder Nick the next. Not that it was his fault, but I was like,
I need to be
"Oh,
mad at somebody.
this is yeah, exactly. This was awful." He was like, "Hey, sweetheart, you know he's out of town. How was last night?" I'm like, "The worst." I had to get up at midnight, 2 a.m.,
Up
6
and down,
a.m.,
up and
and down
down.
the elevator to the doggy. I wanted to pull my fucking hair out and was like, "Never again. I don't want this." But it is fun. I
Yeah.
love it. Like I would never want to do it full time.
Yeah.
Again.
I mean, we did it
right?
for a decade
Exactly,
plus living in high
exactly.
rises. But that was so fun at the time in Austin
Ooh.
too, because it was an up and coming
Yeah.
city. You know, you were so much liveliness around there. You know, now I feel like it's a lot more, you know, obviously too, we're getting older.
Yeah,
People are
it's a
still the young people living downtown. So just
Well, no, think about it. Half of the building's empty nesters.
yeah.
You know, that's like the majority, but a lot of it's their like part-time residents.
Exactly.
You know, I don't think I could do it full time, even if I was in the fucking penthouse.
That's what, you know, after the 360, we were at the W for
Mhm.
almost 10 years. And that was nice because it was a much more of a quieter building
Yeah.
too versus the 360, which is 450 units. And it was like a very lively time. But having something a little bit more quieter was a nice experience. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I've had a blast in that chapter of my life.
Yeah.
But now I can go forward knowing like, okay, I've experienced that, like everything in life,
Yeah.
you know, having those experiences to be like, okay, I'm good at closing this chapter now, and I'm ready to start the next one here.
And next, you're going to go on 10 acres and you're going to have horses.
Rescue. If Hummingbird House ever is not a wedding venue, like it's animal sanctuary all day long.
Oh my God. So, what does home mean to you?
Having a space to where you can just fully be yourself, design wise, has been lovely. That way you have your safe spot, you know, where you can be with your dogs and have friends over and molding it to who you are as a person and bringing that expression. Design is so important to me. Just having something that's visually appealing is such a calming force. There's sometimes I wander around my house with the glass of wine and just like, just feel so at peace, you know,
Yes.
having those comforts and aesthetics. It feels very nice.
It does. It feels so good. I feel the same way. And it's like being, yeah, it's like you created, you know, this
Yeah.
like, it's a metaphor of your life, right? It's like this very intentional design
Yep.
and like it's a design of your life.
Yep.
Right. So having a space
that expresses who you are and
Yes.
your feels. It's versus, you know, like, okay, this was a builder flip home or this was a new construction type of situation, even though with a lot of the houses that I've done, I was able to have a little bit more creative control as
Yeah.
picking out certain selections. But this one was how thin
All
the grout
you.
needs to be, what
Yeah.
shade, all those things. So it's a fun process, and just kind of seeing your hard work and different aspects you brought together, it's come to fruition. Has been like, feels very warm.
Yeah. You feel it whenever you walk in. So, do you think the way you move houses mirrors the way you move through life?
Possibly. I have a very difficult time sitting still, as you may notice. I can't sit still in this chair. I think just always wanting to shake things up, always kind of wanted to reinvent. I'm so content with where I am right now. Like, I feel like having a nice home, that's my good HQ. It's like I can feel very secure in that. Um, but I'm always looking for the next thing. You know, I want to buy another house to have for an Airbnb for the wedding venue. I'm doing massive renovations at the venue last year and this year as well too. So just again having that creative outlet to design and have that expression. Because as in life, you know, you got to keep evolving. You know, otherwise you're stagnant and you're irrelevant.
Right.
I have so many vendors that come out to our venue and they're like, "Oh my God, like you're always doing something here." I was like, "Why wouldn't I?"
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you gotta, and same thing going back to investing in real estate. You know, I'm always putting more money back into the business because that's my investment as well. You know, that's giving me dividends, that's giving me my future security, and it's fun. You know, especially with weddings, you don't want to have the same look for every wedding. Right. You gotta have a constantly new evolving experience for people.
Especially with the competition out there.
Yep.
You know, you really want to like set yourself apart. And at this point, is Hummingbird House like majority referrals, or is it like partial
for
online?
The most part? Yeah. Just, you know, again, 16 years of business. It's so many people have been to weddings there, have heard about weddings there. You see it published, you see it on Instagram. So I'm so grateful to be finally there to where just having that reputation, and that's why I love working with people as well too, because you know I get to have a hands-on, I get to have a little input, I get to be a part of their story. It's just so nice to know that I'm doing something bigger than myself, and just seeing all these weddings. It's so they have the option of like hiring us to do their planning. And when I'm there for weddings and planning, it's so lovely just seeing people get together and get along, and just different people from different backgrounds and ideologies and maybe political beliefs. But it's on this day, everyone's together and they're talking and they're hugging, and it's like, okay, there's still good in the world. Like people are still getting along and they're talking to each other, and it gives me a lot of hope. For where we may be going in the future, you know, because sometimes it's a little scary.
It is disheartening.
And, you know, sometimes it just takes people sitting down together and sharing a meal. And even though you may have some disagreements about different views, don't have to understand the other side, but respect where they're coming from. So I think seeing weddings it's really been nice just to have that hope.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's very difficult for us to be, it's so polarizing right now, and it's isolating, and it's very easy to judge and to dismiss. And I know we're all guilty of it, but there is beauty and power in choosing to like see the good and choosing to like focus on, okay, well, this is what's important right now, and let's put our differences aside. I think if more people can do that, like the big messaging right now is love, and you get to like see that real time. So I imagine does that translate with how you're interacting with the rest of the world right now?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't have much interactions outside of work, which is something I'm working on. But I think that, you know, no one's ever going to agree on everything. But just having enough respect for somebody else's point of view. This week I was watching 5-part documentary on the Kennedys, and
Mhm.
instead of like diving into constant news all the time, I've been trying to do more historical things,
Mhm.
and you know, just learning about a lot more about Robert Kennedy and what an amazing human being he was, and how he wanted to connect with everybody. He wanted to pull people up, and he was such a unifier, and it was so beautiful just seeing everybody that supported him, and he
Mhm.
really was speaking up for the lowest on the totem pole, and he's like, we have to give people a hand up, otherwise we're
Mhm.
not going to survive as a country. You know,
Right.
we have to get along, we have to get together, we got to, some people need a little boost.
Yes.
um and it was just so beautiful. And you know, with his assassination, it was just like so much hope that was lost in that. And
Mhm.
it's, you think back of, God, what would that have been like
Yeah.
he would have if he could have been our president in 86 versus Nixon,
Yeah.
you know? um a lot of lost hope,
Mhm.
but just knowing we can get back there and we can try to talk to each other
Yeah.
again. I'm optimistic,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
and I think right now everybody's so far left, so far right,
Mhm.
and we just need to kind of come to the middle and let's work.
Yeah.
Let's work together, you
Yeah.
know. So,
More of that energy,
mhm.
please,
Yep,
God.
yep.
We need it
Let's talk.
now more than ever. I love that. So, senior dog
Mhm.
rescue. You and Felipe rescue senior dogs. Why senior dogs?
I mean, I've always had shelter dogs. You
Mhm.
know, I could never bring myself to not save a dog.
Yeah, same.
Uh, it Animals need an advocate. They can't speak for themselves, and all they want to do is be with you. All they want to do is to love you, and they're the best thing. You're the best thing about their day.
Yeah.
Um, and just seeing these senior, we recently we saw one that got posted. It was a bonded pair. They were both like 13, 16, like pretty on hospice, and they were surrendered. And it's just like,
Mhm. Yeah.
how can you do that?
Yeah.
Otherwise, if maybe that person was old and could take it themselves, but you know, so we were like immediately like, okay, let's figure this out. Like,
Mhm.
well, we can make this work, when we reached out to them, but they were of course already taken into
Good.
foster,
Okay.
before they responded
You
to
were
us.
about to take on two more.
Yeah. And it's just because nobody wants these old dogs,
Yeah.
you know, and just the thought of like, especially a dog that had a life and had
Mhm.
love, and then
No.
gets taken to the shelter when they're 15 years
Yeah.
old and they have to die there.
No.
It's like, no, like, no, we need to give them that support. And I learned a lot from my girlfriend Tyler,
Mhm.
because her mom does a lot of that. They always have like 10 hospice dogs at their house, and it's just like, just so amazing, because you want to give these animals a good last leg of their
Yeah.
life and a good last chapter. You know, when we got Rex in 2022, he was 14 years old.
Mhm.
His owner had died. He was trapped in the house, like emaciated, like awful joint pain, and we had a good 2 years with him. And you
Mhm.
know, because he was able to have that comfort and that love again, and just knowing that you're doing something good for the world is something we need more of.
Yeah.
And that's something I really want to focus on more in my future too. I want to pull back from working 80, 100-hour weeks and have more time to do more, because it
Mhm.
gives me so much fulfillment knowing that I'm doing something other than work, work, work.
Right.
Um, that's where I want to put my energy and self in the future.
I love it. Thank you for that work. What has loving something in its final season taught you about presence and love?
Having the patience, taking the time to be there.
Mhm.
Um, you know, we're always so go, go, go in our world now, but taking a few extra minutes to sit on the couch with that dog, or
Mhm.
even though they may walk real, real, real slow, taking them around the block so they can get some sniffs, and just being present. I think
Mhm.
patience and presence is the most important, just that I've learned, just trying to be in the moment, not only just for an animal, but for another fellow
Yeah.
human being, is we all need a little gratitude and
Yeah.
humility in our lives, just to try to respect the others and do good in the world. If we want to say we want things to change, we want
Mhm.
this happiness and love, like we got to start with ourselves.
Right.
Like you said, you have to be full person. You have to be full as a person before you can go forth and try to be a change agent yourself. Just to try to lead by example.
Yeah,
So,
I love that. Be the change, right?
yeah. Yeah. You're not going to change the world, but you can change your situation.
Mhm.
You can change how other people may see you or how they see themselves.
Mhm.
And different perspectives. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to start small.
Mhm.
But if we all just try to pitch in a little bit more and have a little bit more grace, I don't know.
The world would be a better place.
We can do it. We can do it.
And Ryan and I used to do dog rescue. I think
Yeah.
I fostered over like 50 dogs over the
Wow.
years. So many. I was so passionate about it. And then I had a kid and I'm like, fuck these dogs. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. But and now that he's older and it's easier,
Yeah.
with Jax, I'm finding that I'm like far more patient. It'll be interesting to see once you guys have kids how that changes, because those dogs move on that totem pole real fast.
It'll the
Do it
dynamics.
while you can.
I always said I'm going to be the strict, because he's Colombian, he's very regimented,
Yeah.
and he had a really good upbringing, and he's very disciplined, and I always thought I'd be the same. But of course now with our 4 dogs, it's like,
Yeah.
oh no, I'm the excuse maker. Like,
Yes,
they do
you
nothing
are.
wrong, and
Believe it.
yeah,
Rent a tight shit.
those dogs are trained.
Yeah, good shit.
Trained. Yeah.
Somebody's got to train you. You guys are a good balance.
So it's exactly, it'll be a fun little venture and experience growing into that together. But yeah, it's taught us a lot just having the dogs alone.
Yes. It's definitely preparing
Yeah.
you.
When with
for-
having kids, like you said, having the patience with things as well too. And
yeah, it prepares you.
Mhm.
It's funny, my family, they tell me this later, but they were like, girl, we were real nervous about you having a kid. And I'm like, what? They're like,
Thanks.
yeah, bitch, you are like, have no patience. You're so
very particular,
Yeah.
put together, you like things, we like things a certain way.
Yeah, but then it's like, no, you have your baby and it's like they're running your ass, like whenever they
Mhm.
need,
Mhm.
like so it's just funny how
Yeah.
it like changes you so much. But dogs, ooh, low on the totem pole when Jax came into the picture.
Yeah.
It's funny, I did a little story on my Instagram yesterday. I have felt like a walking zombie the last few days because my fucking dogs have been getting me up at all hours of the night. Stewie sleeps with me, and that boy's like in
Moving.
the covers, out of the covers, and I'm a very
Mhm.
light sleeper. And Mia, she's had stomach issues, so I've been having to get up with her, and I'm like, you guys are killing me.
Get a doggy door.
Well, no, yeah, no shit. And so, but we sleep with it pitch black and like keep the doors closed in the
Mhm,
bedroom.
mhm.
So it's like if someone has to get up, I hear the nails, and then I have to
Yeah.
open the door and I have to fucking let them out. I turn the alarm off. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And it takes
Yep.
me hours to fall back asleep. But I did this whole rant yesterday on how these dogs are not going to run my life. I value sleep. I need sleep.
You have to be a whole person.
But yeah, fucking right. Last night, I'm like, are you guys ready to go to bed? I said, take a picture of Stewie like laying, in bed. And I'm like, no, I only have a limited amount of time with them. This is what they live for.
To be next to you.
It's okay. I can be a little sleep deprived.
Yeah.
Those are my babies, and they
Yeah.
live to be close to us. And
That's all they want.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for coming.
you,
I have
Crystal.
one final question for
Okay.
you.
Oof. All right. Here it is.
What would 25-year-old Danny think about your life today?
Damn. Yeah. I never envisioned that I would have the success that I have, that I would have the marriage that I have. Again, being my first relationship, someone who was older, very successful, I saw that and I was like, I'm never going to get to that level. I'm never going to have that kind of security. It's all, and here I have, I've created it, and I had a lot of great opportunities, but I ran with them. So I'm very glad that I had that intuition of doing that and that freedom to do that. But just having this sense of love and connection and community with friends that, we're still friends after all these years, and because you grow together as well too, as you grow with yourself in life and figuring out who you are and what your priorities are. So yeah, 25-year-old Danny, I'd be like, hold on, you're gonna get there. Nothing happens overnight. So it taught me a lot of patience as well too, of just when you're ready, you'll be there. You can't force yourself into something. You can't rush into something. It takes years to build up that confidence and that knowing as well too. So I would just say breathe, take a moment, appreciate where you are right now, and don't try to expedite things. Enjoy the moment. And I had a lot of fun moments, a lot of which is a blur, because when you have so many activities going on. But I know I lived such a fun life, and I think that's why now I'm so confident being in this relationship, in this marriage, because I've had fun experiences, and now this is the chapter I've been longing for.
Right.
So it's never looking back of longing of, oh, I wish I would have, or that would have been. That's like, no, I did that, and it was a great time. It's a good experience. That chapter's closed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just being at peace with the past and confident in the future.
I love it.
So
thank you so much.
Thank you. This has been great.
You.
Thank you. I love you.
I'm so grateful for our friendship.
An amazing friend, and just, again, watching everything grow together.
We've been through a lot of different seasons and heartaches and success and setbacks, and I'm really proud of us.
Very. Yeah, you should be very proud of yourself. So,
I am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.